She is the sweetest thing that I know. Should see the way she holds me when the lights go low. Shakes my soul like a pothole every time.
Well, Ethan, do you take Caitlin as your wife, joining with her today in spirit, offering your friendship and loving care? Do you promise to honor her growth and freedom, as well as your own, to cherish and respect her, to love and embrace her in times of challenge, as well as times of joy?
I do.
And Caitlin, do you take Ethan as your husband, joining with him today in spirit, offering your friendship and loving care? Do you promise to honor his growth and freedom, as well as your own, to cherish and respect him, to love and embrace him in times of challenge and times of joy?
I do.
Well, Ethan and Caitlin, as you prepare to share your vows, I want you to please continue to face each other, hold both hands, look into the eyes of the one that you love as you repeat after me. And Ethan, you'll be first. Today, Caitlin.
Today, Caitlin,
I join my life to yours.
I join my life to yours,
Not merely as your husband,
not merely as your husband,
but as your friend,
but as your friend,
your lover,
and
your confidant.
your confidant.
Let me be the shoulder you lean on,
Let me be the shoulder that you lean on,
the rock on which you rest,
the rock on which you rest,
the companion of your love.
the companion of your love.
With you I will walk my path
With you I will walk my path
from this day forward.
from this day forward.
This commitment is made in love,
This commitment is made in love,
kept in faith,
kept in faith,
lived in hope,
lived in hope,
and made eternally new.
and made eternally new.
Caitlin, it's your turn. Today, Ethan,
Today, Ethan,
I join my life to yours.
I join my life to yours,
Not merely as your wife,
not merely as your wife,
but as your friend,
but as your friend,
your lover,
your lover,
and your confidant.
and your confidant.
Let me be the shoulder you lean on,
Let me be the shoulder you lean on,
the rock on which you rest,
the rock on which you rest,
the companion of your life.
the companion of your life.
With you I will walk my path
With you I will walk my path
from this day forward.
from this day forward.
This commitment is made in love,
This commitment is made in love,
kept in faith,
kept in faith,
lived in hope,
lived in hope,
and made eternally new.
and made eternally new.
Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? Hopefully good. Well oiled at this point in the night, I would hope. I think by now I've actually met everyone. I had a whole speech planned out, like if you don't know me, blah, blah, blah. But I think you've all met me by now. Caitlin's dad, Pat, joined by my lovely wife here, Rosie, mother of the bride. Friends and family of Caitlin and friends and family of Ethan, I just want to welcome you all. Absolutely fantastic to see you all this evening. Excuse me. It's been an emotional day, so bear with me on this one, okay? I'm good. Thank you. So I got to look at the guest list earlier on and where you've all come in from, and quick interaction with ChatGPT showed me that you've collectively travelled 96,000 miles to be here today. That's about 4 times around the globe, right? So I think that speaks wonders for the love we all have for Caitlin and Ethan, and we couldn't be prouder to celebrate their day with you all. So, where do we start? Caitlin. Let me start with Caitlin. Born June the 13th, 2003. Friday the 13th, no less. The day before, Thursday the 12th of June, was actually a really nice day in New Jersey, a pre-summer day. Beautiful weather. I see Rosie looking at me with eyes here, because we remember what happened. As we drove to the hospital on Thursday evening, and Rosie had told me it was time to go, the skies opened. Thunder, lightning, rain. It was a biblical storm, okay? And that was pretty much Caitlin announcing her arrival. And every day since then has been a journey of growth and experiences that have made Caitlin the person who she is today. She is steadfastly headstrong in her pursuit of goals. She sets a goal and she goes for it. She got into Kung Fu at the tender age of 6. I'm not sure if you know this. Tender age of 6, she started Kung Fu. One day after her 11th birthday, she was picking up her black belt in Kung Fu. So, not to be messed with, Ethan, please take note. So, on to her next challenge. Ethan threw herself into marching band at high school. She was the pit percussion leader, and she did a whole bunch of stuff. She played at Madison Square Garden in New York. She played at MetLife Stadium as well. I'm a New York Giants fan. Let me hear it. And Caitlin got to do something in October 2017 that the Giants hadn't done at MetLife Stadium, and that was win. So Caitlin actually got to lift a trophy with her bandmates. She went on to be the New Jersey State Champion and National Champion with her marching band. Very focused. She moves from goal to goal. Next focus was graduating high school early. She graduated when she was 16. I think that the thing about Caitlin is she did all this with energy, determination, passion, also but with kindness and humility. And that's who we see here today in Caitlin. She moved to Florida with us in October 2020. And after a brief stay with us, does anyone remember what was happening in 2020? Roughly? No? Yeah? Yeah. After a brief stay in Florida, she moved back to New Jersey and dormed at Rutgers. And that's when this guy kind of came on the scene and we started seeing more of Ethan. So Ethan, first time I saw Ethan was in a picture, February 2021. A bunch of college kids sitting outside on a blanket, I'm guessing, just happy to be outdoors. A little bit later, another picture showed up. Fewer kids, but Caitlin and Ethan next to each other. Actually, CJ, you were in this picture as well. I remember seeing you in this picture as well. By April of 2021, Ethan was down in Florida with us, helping celebrate Rosie's birthday. And by June, he was back again. I was like, this is getting serious. We started to learn a little bit more about Ethan. And I think it was then that, we realized what a good guy he is. Since then, we've spent birthdays together, Thanksgiving together, Christmas together, New Year's together, these whole, bunch of family things that we all look forward to, and knowing what a great guy he is. Ethan is a person, I think half of you at least know Ethan from college or family or whatever else. He's seen much of the same great characteristics in him as, we see in Caitlin: drive, determination, enthusiasm, fierce passion for technology. I remember when he showed me his collection of Apple Watch straps with built-in RFID chips that changes the color of the watch face when you put them on. He wrote his first app and launched it on the App Store at 13 years old. I don't know what you guys were doing at 13 years old, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't writing apps for Apple, right? But no, he's really kind of grown on us, I guess is what I'm saying. He's also a really caring guy. We saw the kiss earlier on, right? He loves Caitlin, right? I've known this guy for over 4 years now. Really caring guy. He calls me or he texts me on my birthday. He even did it one year a few years ago at 1 o'clock in the morning to make sure he beat Caitlin to wishing me a happy birthday before she did. He said Happy Father's Day on Father's Day. And really the most touching call was around October 2023 when he called me and asked if he could take Caitlin's hand in marriage. And pretty old school, I think we'll all agree. Round of applause for that. He did it right. Okay. And I didn't have the heart to say no. So here we are today, right, sitting at the top table here. So, Scott and Laura, thank you for raising such an amazing guy. Thank you. Ethan, welcome to the family. And by that, I mean welcome to, the family. We've got people in here from all over the world. Although it feels like you've been part of the family for a lot longer, right? So, the couple, what do we see here today? Great match. From the moment they were together 4 years and 2 months ago to the day. there's been an air of inevitability about everything. These guys are fun to be around. They're movie geeks, but in an endearing way, right? They love playing with Legos. Did anyone see the Avengers Tower on their gift registry? Like, this is how these guys spend their time, right? So, you know, they'll burn an evening spending time on video games, Mario Kart, Mario Party. They're just a cute couple of guys, right? But they've got a good financial head on their shoulders. They're planning for the future. They've got the makings of a solid life together, right? So whether you've known these guys for 5 years or their whole lives, I think we can all agree that they're great together. There is a line from a show that I recently watched. May we all find the good life that we deserve. Any Severance fans out there? Yeah. Right, okay. May we all find the good life that we deserve. And looking at Caitlin and Ethan today, it's clear that they found it in each other. Okay, so I know I speak for everyone when I wish you a lifetime of health, happiness, and laughter, and wealth. Don't forget the wealth. I'd like you to each raise your glasses and join me in a quick toast to Mr. and Mrs. Humphrey. Cheers, guys.
When I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I realized, Caitlin, I haven't ever told you, I'm sure Ethan has, but I haven't told you the story of how we met and a little past that. So I figured we'd go there. The first time I met Ethan was standing in the San Jose State dorms, the first floor of San Jose State dorms. And I did perhaps the weirdest thing you can do to somebody. I turned around, I see Ethan, and I say, "You must be Ethan." Now, I didn't know him. This is the first time I'd ever seen him in person. And I happen to know his name. And I'm sure you thought I was some crazy, California kid. And just, how does this guy know who I am? Well, one of the really great things, and the reason we were at San Jose State University, was that Ethan and I were both invited by Apple to go to their conference back when that was still going on. And there's a really great registry for the folks who get invited in that way, where you go and you put in your information and you write a profile about yourself and whatnot. And so I was entering in my profile, a month before this, and I stumbled upon Ethan's profile. And I clicked on it, very attractive picture on there. It's still there, by the way. And I was able to read a little bit about Ethan beforehand, and there's the usual high school age notes and, your interests and your hobbies and whatnot. And at the very end, what struck me the most at that time was that you ended your profile by saying you were a child of God and follow His word. And I think what that highlights to me is one of the great qualities you have is you're a fantastic encourager. And at the time for me, that meant the world. Because for me, that was, we've all gone through high school, we've all grown up. And I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that's a tough period for a lot of folks. And so for me, I hadn't even met you, and you were encouraging. So on a different note about encouragement and about how Ethan is encouraging, Ethan is the reason that I got my first job in tech, which is kind of crazy to say. So we met at this conference. A couple years later, I get married. Ethan's by my side, which was a phenomenal day. And my wife and I moved from California, where we had both grown up, and we moved to Boise, Idaho. And I'm sure at least 4 of you in here might have heard that one time. And Ethan had started this internship at this small, no more than 20-person company. And he said, "Hey, how about you come apply here? I know you just moved. You're looking for a place to work." And, I kind of blew you off. And I said, I don't know. I don't think I need to work for this place. I'll find my own thing. Anyway, I ended up applying because Ethan is smart, and that was the right decision to make. And he encouraged me through that process. I applied, and sure enough, I got the job. And that began a really interesting chapter in my life and my story, personally and with Ethan as well. If you know me, a couple of you do, I'm a big ideas guy. I walk into a room and I think, man, what can we do to make something better? What can we do to make just something fantastic happen and impact people? And Ethan is the guy who encourages that drive and makes sure that if I bring him something, it goes the distance. And so I can call this guy up and tell him anything, and he's there for me. So Ethan's encouraging here. The other quality that I think is important is that Ethan is very wise. And I mean, we can see that here in this pairing. So, thank you. Ethan, for me, is one of the first three people I go to outside of my wife and direct family for any big decision or challenge. And to give you one example, about 6 years ago, he and I were out in this area in Orlando, actually, to go on a cruise. And that was the first time, I don't know if you remember, but that was the first time I said, hey, I'm thinking about getting married. What do you think? And I said, I'm thinking of doing this in, maybe a year here. And you were like, that's crazy. Slow down, big guy. And that was helpful because it was a little crazy and ambitious, and we needed more time, and we talked through that. And you contributed to making sure that my marriage was off to a successful start in that way. I mentioned being able to work with Ethan professionally and be that ideas guy. And sometimes your ideas are fantastic, and he's able to add that little flair of, that you've thought about this, and this, but have you considered this other option? Or alternatively, my idea sucks, and you make that clear in a very kind way. And I thank you for it, because I've had some terrible ideas. It's just natural. All that to say, in his own life, I've watched you approach, Ethan, just some insane challenges. And you don't waver, and you don't rush into things. You consider everything that you need to consider to get the job done and do it right and do it smart. So Ethan is encouraging and wise. I'll close with this. Yesterday, I had the chance to have a great conversation with Ethan's mom, Laura. And we were speaking about how in 1 Corinthians 12, Paul's talking about the idea that as a Christian, we all represent different parts of the body of Christ. And in short, he's speaking to how every person, I've got this written down by my wife who knows it much better than I do here, each person serves a different but important role in that body, and we all support each other as we work towards a common goal. And I was thinking last night, Matt and I were shooting ideas. I was on the phone with my wife, making sure that this was going to turn out okay when I came up and spoke. And I realized that Ethan, in my relationship with him, embodies this idea totally. When I face challenges, good or bad, Ethan is the guy to lift me up. Ethan is the guy to help me get through those things, and ultimately to be a brother to me that I know I can rely on no matter what's going on. So, all that to say, if that's who Ethan is, if Ethan is this guy who is encouraging, if Ethan is this guy who is wise, and ultimately a brother to me, to somebody that he met, total stranger in the most awkward fashion possible at 16 years old in San Jose State, I have faith that he will be 1,000 times that to you as your husband.
Thought of going home, 'cause from now until I go, every night I'll kiss you, you'll say in my ear, oh, we're in love.